7:03, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Everybody get a chance to read through the agenda? Any questions, comments, concerns? You have a motion?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Oh, we got everybody here.
I
We can just
know.
vote. We don't have to do the roll call thing. It's weird.
Really, yeah.
All right. Go ahead and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Cool. Presentations. First presentation, we have the TMDL implementation plan.
Not to bore you guys too long. So our 5-year TMDL is coming to an end and we're getting ready to renew. The city has to renew or send in an annual report February 28th of each year. This year on February 4th, the EPA notified Oregon DEQ that they were implementing a final revised Willamette Basin mercury total maximum daily load and mercury TMDL. So I know it's pretty small, but trying to fit it all up here so you guys could see it. So the first page on the top left is our current TMDL. With the new ruling, we have to do all the other 5 pages. So part of the, just to kind of summarize those, measures 1 through 7 are public outreach. So that's pretty easy stuff. It's newsletter. We actually have to have our own page on the website for stormwater TMDL. So that's a requirement. And those are pretty low cost items. Measures 8 through 10 are pollution prevention and municipal operations. These categories cover programs like street trees, adding additional tree canopy coverage in the parks and around impervious areas like parking lots and streets. Annual cleaning programs for catch basins and an updated stormwater mapping plan when new lines are added, and then they also want us to identify all of the outfalls into like Hybrid or Ditch, Mill Creek, and Beaver Creek. Measures 11 through 13 include illicit discharge and elimination. These categories include identifying and updating stormwater maps, naming outfalls. We need to develop ordinances so that we can have enforcement action against people who are dumping like lawn debris, pet waste, different things into our stormwater system. So we'll probably be coming back to you guys with some ordinance amendments so that we can they want a certain type of enforcement action against people who are dumping stuff into the stormwater. Measures 14 through 18 include construction site stormwater runoff control. A lot of the bigger projects like subdivisions and more than 1 acre projects have a 1200C permit with DEQ, which we already require that, but now they're wanting like any permit that's gone through the city, they want to have some sort of stormwater tracking, and they just want us to track it and then try to communicate with the homeowners or like the smaller projects, things that they can do to eliminate runoff into the storm system. Some of those projects are like fences and sheds and stuff like that when they're building on the smaller city lots. So ultimately what DEQ wants from us, the city, is that we basically keep you guys up to speed on what's going on, but it's also, you'll see that a lot of the measures, if you take a look at the chart, a lot of the measures are coming out of our street fund or general fund. And part of this 5-year plan that will be 2023 through 2028 is going to require that we come up with a source to fund all this stuff. So I know we've talked about in the past, like a stormwater fee or some way to fund all of these. There's 31 categories now that we have to figure out a way to fund and implement these programs. So We were at a training recently, and the city of Portland said they have like in between the curb and the sidewalk, little water quality basins. And they say for every 50 feet, it costs the city $1,200 per year to maintain those. So, you know, when you look out at Heiberger subdivision, we have those detention basins. We're figuring those cost us probably between $5,000 and $8,000 a year to maintain, between mowing, spraying, weeding, just keeping them up. So start adding more of those. It's something that's going to cost a lot of money. We're cleaning Heiberger ditch right now, and that's going to run about $6,000 to $8,000. Just to have an engineer come up with this plan for us is about $10,000, which is required by DEQ. So I mean, those are the bigger ticket money items that we're going to have to find the funding source to pay for those things. So this presentation is basically just for you guys to be aware of the changes. Be aware that we're probably going to be, or we are required to set up some sort of funding for these programs. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, I know it's not a good topic when you talk about fees,
really well.
when you talk about fees and stuff like that, but it is something that is required by Oregon DEQ, and this has come down from the EPA. And the hardest part for us is there's not, like with our wastewater project, there's a number that you have to achieve, and whatever we can do to achieve that number. The way that the TMDL is they basically say mercury is a problem, figure out a way to solve it. And a lot of it comes from the soil or from overseas throughout in the air. And how do you solve that? How do you solve stormwater coming into our community from farmland, every other area? So
We're going to build a bubble.
yeah, so that's the hardest part.
And I'll add to that really quick, Matt. You can
Yep.
stay here in case there's any other questions. But as council knows, we actually talked about this a few years ago when we were doing our vision plan, because you know, we already had some expectations from DEQ that we weren't quite meeting, and we could see a lot of these things were going to be emerging issues. And so even in our vision plan, we actually memorialize already a lot of this stuff. So our plan was to come and talk to the council after the state of the city in our planning session, our retreat planning session, our goal session, present some of this information and talk about a best path forward. But the cost of dealing with the stormwater system is increasing, and we are going to have to figure out a way to fund it. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to sustain it if we just draw our one-time revenues out of general fund. So it's definitely something that we have to do. And we have changed a number of our city ordinances already to start reducing that burden. We no longer accept those on-site facilities from development, where we used to just take the responsibility of that. Now what we're doing is we're either implementing some sort of a service agreement, or we're making the developers maintain that as part of some sort of on-site facility. But that's a temporary patch, and we've kind of been using it the last few years. So
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part is right now we're taking it out of the street fund.
Yeah.
And you know, those repairs are not getting any cheaper. So when you start robbing that, you start having worse streets, and no one wants that.
Anybody got any questions? Cool. Thank you,
Not
Matt.
now.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about the hazard mitigation?
Thank you.
All right, so next, public comment. Ty, I believe you signed up to give public comment? Yeah, just come up to the little podium here.
My first time public speaking, so.
Here we go. Good luck.
Yep, my name is Ty Weber. I live on Heiberger Loop 990. I'm also one of the primary care providers in the Aumsville Medical Clinic. I'll try not to get emotional. So Friday morning, to give you a little background, I on the paper wrote about a child being struck on Mill Creek. Friday morning, I walk to work. I wear a reflective jacket and walk along every morning to get to where I work at the medical clinic. Friday morning, I saw a young man hit by one of the cars going that direction. Bounced off the bumper and was almost struck by another car going the other direction. I was able to rush to his aid and to help him until paramedics arrived. I wish this was a single event, but this is something that, I mean, over the last couple of years, I've been working in the Aumsville Medical Clinic for 4 years, and I walk, I enjoy the walk. But those two areas are constantly areas that you see 20 to 30 kids that constantly are horse playing. It's just, it's kids. That's what they do. But this was the first time I had seen an accident right in front of me where a kid was hit. I don't know that I have great answers as far as what to do about it. I know the speed limit still, jumps up to 45 in that range. I know lighting on the street is kind of poor in that area. But it's more to just make you guys aware so that hopefully things can be looked at and revisited for what are the child buses and stops in the area.
Okay. And I know in regards to that, we have petitioned to Marion County about crosswalks in a number of areas, a number of times. And I mean, for whatever reason, they don't feel they're necessary. It's unfortunate, but maybe the good that can come out of this is we will see happen. But yeah, I mean, sucks. It's terrible. And I think all of us on council wish there was an easier fix for these types of issues.
I promised to just go paint something on your way out.
I've got 3 months left, Ella.
I know.
Just wait.
Paint something on the road.
Just reminding you of your.
December
promise, right?
31st, all of a sudden, there's gonna be some new crosswalks in town.
Some cities have like flashing signs at spots where there may be more than 20 kids waiting for a bus. Those are like easy fixes, shorter fixes, but still not gonna solve the issue of what teenagers and young kids do.
Our problem is they're county roads and we have no say,
Yeah.
which
I mean, honestly,
we try.
the only impact that we can have is really asking the PD to be in those areas in the mornings when pickup is happening to see if maybe they can try and, calm some kids down, but we all know how well that goes.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think this does give us a place to start bugging Marion County again about crosswalks though.
I'm happy to go and appeal with, or to whoever, if I need to go speak at other places. Well, I'm not a great public speaker. I'm happy to go talk about.
No, well, I mean, I've got your email and your number and everything now. So if that's the route we want to go, I'll probably be reaching out to you or something. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you, sir.
Let's see. Is there anybody who wishes to make comment? Raise their hand. I'm not seeing a hand go up. So we will continue on. No visitors, so consent agenda. Everybody get a chance to read through the agenda. Any questions, comments, concerns? Motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Public hearing, we got nothing. Old business, we got nothing. New business. First item, we have the addendum of the Marion County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan.
All right. So this is pretty much just public information for you guys, so you know what's going on. About 6 months ago, Rick was in charge of this program. He put it on Damien and I as he knew he was kind of leaving. So we've been going to the steering committee meetings. There's no financial obligation to the city. This is a plan that will help us recover any kind of FEMA money in the future if there's an event. It'll also help us partner with Marion County and other cities if there's an issue, some kind of emergency in the future. Since there's no financial obligation to the city, our obligation is going to the meetings, having input, doing these plans. We did have a plan before this one, so not much has really changed. We took out some of the projects that we have accomplished in the last several years and put some new ones in. Some of those projects are like the seismic upgrades on the tower, the million-gallon reservoir, the four-wheel drive vehicles that we purchased after the ice storm. That was something that council had made the recommendation, and we got those, and that was kind of neat because with all the cities doing this program, that was kind of like a highlight between the seismic analysis on the tanks and the four-wheel drive vehicles. It was kind of a spotlight through this whole program that we're doing things to move in the right direction. So yeah, it's just what will happen now is this plan will be submitted to FEMA for approval with Marion County and all the cities that are partnering. And once they approve it, we'll bring it back to you guys. That'll probably be around the end of the year, December or January. We'll bring it back to you guys for approval, but this is so you guys can take a look at it. If there's any questions or comments, please get them back to us because they would like to have all the comments by October 1st, I think it was. So if you guys look through it and there's any kind of questions or issues, just, let us know so we can get it back to them and get it submitted.
The one thing I saw is on your functional and access needs vulnerable populations is that the daycare is no longer at 200 Main.
Okay.
There's a new one farther down, but you need to
Okay.
update that part
Okay.
from what I could see. The rest look pretty good.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and those things are kind of always changing, the businesses and stuff like
I
that.
know.
So those are kind of hard to keep track of, but we'll get that one switched out and and get it submitted.
Cool.
All right, thanks.
And let's see, next we've got the procurement of a new patrol vehicle.
I think Matt had easy presentations because he didn't have to ask you for anything. I have to ask you for something. So tonight I am presenting a staff report requesting that council authorize us to purchase a new police vehicle. As council recalls, a number of years ago, we were kind of having issues with our vehicles. We didn't really have a replacement schedule. We didn't own our vehicles at the time. And we did a couple of things at that moment. We applied for some grants through USDA to be able to help us purchase our own vehicles so that the cost of those vehicles would be less than what we were renting and maintaining vehicles for. And then we also asked to implement a vehicle replacement schedule. And here we are a couple of years later, and we need to get another car so that our vehicles will continue to last and not have a lot of additional maintenance requirements. So we're ready to go in that schedule. We have about $67,000 in that particular line item for police vehicles. And in total, with all of our state contract pricing and small product bids, we are estimating our cost not to exceed $62,876.43. That's for the vehicle. It's the same type of vehicle that we have now. It's a 2023 model, equipped exactly the same, and then having all the police equipment installed, the cage in the back and all of that stuff is about $18,000 more. And so if council agrees with that, we'd appreciate your support in purchasing that vehicle. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Move to authorize the city to purchase a new patrol vehicle fully equipped using the state contract prices and small bids for $62,876.43 from Fund 02811 as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool. Ron, your report, please, sir.
I don't really have a lengthy report. I do have just a couple of things to say to council. One, we'd recommend that we cancel the October 24th council meeting. There's some scheduling issues and we really don't have a heavy agenda. Our heavy agenda will be on October 10th. I think it is it the 10th? Yeah. And so if council is acceptable to that, I think we just need a nod from you. I don't believe we need a motion or anything. It's up to you.
I'm okay with that. I might be gone anyway. Makes my life.
Same as me.
Yeah,
No
I'm
worries.
fine
All
with
right.
it.
That just cleans up some scheduling stuff. October 15th, staff got together. We didn't really have a event planning committee meeting scheduled just because we're exhausted after the Corn Festival. So we have to have a little recovery time. But we did get together internal office staff, and we'd like to do an event on October 15th called the Pumpkin Walk. A little Halloween event for the community. It'd be free to the community, and basically kids can come down and get a free pumpkin. We're working with our grower who grew our corn, who also grows other things, and he has pumpkins and he's willing to give them to the city really cost effectively for us to do an event like this. It's fairly low cost. So we've got a few other things, and it's really just meant to build goodwill in the community and get people feeling good and coming together, you know, kind of all of our council goals, and it's fairly low cost. So you're going to see you're going to see some pre-event advertisement along Main Street that'll probably invoke some conversation, and then we'll just have a nice, it's like a 2 or 3 hour event. Kids can come down. We'll have, you know, normal hot cider and stuff for the kids. They can get a pumpkin. So just FYI about that. We did receive a resignation from council member Ecclestone, who's now moved out of the city. And so we're really, really close to that November time period. I'm not sure if council wants us to move forward in advertising that, accept applications, or if we want to wait until after November, how you want me to proceed. We do have to officially accept his recommendation, and you can do that by a simple motion. But if you have a preferred process, I'm happy to implement that.
I mean, I don't think there's a mandatory time frame on filling it with potentially new people coming in and me leaving and stuff. I think it would make sense to just push it off till January.
You can open up applications and
Up for reelection?
No,
He
he's
has
not
2
on this election
years
cycle.
plus the next couple months left on his.
Yeah, so if we wait till January, so we can start accepting applications.
Yep.
Wait till January when,
You could
you know,
have
everybody who's
for both
elected
of
or
them.
re-elected gets sworn in,
Fill it.
and then it's a filled position, 2-year term before having to go for election.
And we even could do it quicker than that. We could do it in the month of December if we were to take applications, open up an application period. We could appoint to sit somebody at the first meeting in January. So we don't, if you'd like. Like that plan?
I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
So all I need from you is a simple motion to accept the resignation from Councilmember Ecclestone.
Got a motion?
I move to accept Councilmember Ecclestone's resignation due to his move out of town.
Good.
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It matters if somebody opposes in that case.
All right.
We're all opposed to the fact that he has.
Yeah, none of us wanted him to move, but.
No.
No, he did a great
No, I
job.
lost a great neighbor.
Yeah. And I have nothing else to report.
All right. Well, thank you, Ron. Council reports and initiatives. Anybody got anything? Anything for the good of the order? So originally I was supposed to be leaving on Thursday for Ethiopia. That's not happening now. So I will be home at least until the end of October. And it sounds like that October trip is up in the air as well. So I will keep you all updated on if I end up having to boogie out of the country again or not. No correspondence. So if there is nothing else, I have 7:27. We'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting.